The world is riddled with maggots, the maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride, full of pride, full of pride, full of pride. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies. Thank you, Sean.
I have a lot to say about politics. Some people don't want to talk about politics. They're like, NATO, why do you got to talk about politics? What do politics have to do with me? I'm not an immigrant, or a black person, or a Muslim, or a Jew, or a gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or a woman, or an old person, or a young person, or a student, or a union member, or artist, or journalist, or scientist, or public employee. I don't breathe the air or drink the water. I don't live in a coastal region that'll be affected by sea level rise or an arid region that'll be affected by drought or fire. I don't like chocolate, wine, or coffee or other commodities that will no longer be available due to climate change. I'm not mentally ill, pregnant, disabled, or currently being shot at, so... What do politics have to do with me? That's a fair point. It's hard to argue with that.
Have you seen any of these videos or read any of these articles before, such as Dark Gothic MAGA, How Tech Billionaires Plan to Destroy America, or the Behind the Bastards podcast episodes about Peter Thiel, or Curtis Yarvin, or this video, or this video, or this recent article from The New Yorker called Techno-Fascism Comes to America, or this recent article from the Financial Times, or this article from The Verge, or this article from The Nation, or this article from The Guardian, or this one from Politico, or a bunch more sources that I will link at the end of this video and in the video description. If you are already familiar with some of these sources, then you might have some idea of what I'm about to discuss, except I'm also going to include my humble proposal for what I believe we, the people, can do about this situation that we are all currently in. But if you have no idea what I'm talking about, here's the short version. Curtis Yarvin is a techno-fascist. He wrote a plan for how techno-fascist billionaires can and should buy a presidential candidate and force them into office by any means necessary.
And he knows those computers better than anybody, all those computers, those vote-counting computers. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide, so it was pretty good.
All so they can destroy the entire government, along with all laws and regulations, destabilize the economy, and devalue the dollar so the billionaire tech CEOs can take over everything and replace it all with cryptocurrency and their own private systems of total societal control, free from pesky things like democracy, human rights, or accountability of any kind. This plan is called the Butterfly Revolution. Techno-fascist billionaires Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and several others really like this plan and decided to make it happen. So, everything the Trump-Musk administration has been saying and doing this entire time fits exactly within the overall techno-fascist agenda. Anything that seems ridiculous, nonsensical, wasteful, no matter how crazy it all seems, once you understand the agenda it fits into, it all falls into place like a jigsaw puzzle. It's almost funny, because it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's actually the missing piece that makes all of their seemingly insane, irrational behavior finally make sense, and, unfortunately, it's not a theory. It's not based on mercurial secrets whispered in dark corners of the internet. They've been saying it all out in the open for years. All the big names are on the record, are working with each other, and are following through step by step on their explicit plans. So the question is, what do we do about it? And what does this have to do with the Ides of March? When Shakespeare dramatized the assassination of Julius Caesar, he pointedly included a fortune teller who straight up warns the titular Roman dictator, "Beware the Ides of March." But sure enough, when the middle of the month, March 15th, the Ides of March came around, Caesar was surrounded by members of his own Senate, and they stabbed him to death. So that's why I've made this video just in time for the Ides of March 2025, to add a little gravitas to a warning of historic proportions. A warning for all of us, including the administration itself, because they will all start stabbing each other in the back as soon as the walls start closing in. And that is the inevitable outcome of the agenda they have locked themselves into. Everyone is turning against them, and they will eventually turn against each other, but we cannot wait for that to happen. By then, it will already be too late. So with that in mind, here is my proposal, my humble pitch for a way through this crisis. How to realize the mainstream revolution. Now, what does the mainstream revolution actually look like? Here's a basic version. We are in the end game now. This regime is performing a criminal coup and must be deposed and arrested as soon as possible, because they have a total disregard for following the law, and if their agenda has not been stopped by this time next year, then we will have likely crossed a point of no return. A Rubicon, if you will, where the mechanisms to take back power will no longer be available to us, and the only remaining worthwhile strategies will be for long-term survival within a drawn-out societal collapse. So urgency and clarity is key. We need a critical mass of people informed, organized, and actively working together with a clear agenda and an even clearer message that is easy to repeat, repeat, repeat. That is the only way we can pull in more and more people, spreading the message further and further quickly enough so that enough pressure can be applied to specific points of leverage within the political landscape, but more importantly, within the media landscape and economic landscape. And it is absolutely possible. If you are paying attention to what's going on with the general populace, never before have so many people been on the same page, rallying against one obvious enemy. Sure, it hasn't reached everyone yet, but it's reached way more people than ever before, and the signs are clear. If we focus on the people who are already on the same side, who don't need to be convinced, who we won't waste time on arguing with, we can weave all of these groups that are already in agreement together into one singular movement, one popular mainstream revolution dedicated to putting pressure on the businesses, the industries, the donors, the politicians, the governors, the mayors, the journalists, the media outlets, the influencers, the celebrities, the content creators, anyone who can and should be fighting against the techno-fascist assault on all of our lives. Our livelihoods, our health, our friends and families, our futures. Literally, the future of humanity is at stake right now unless we all get informed, organized, and active so we can get this revolution off the ground and finally complete the promise made almost 250 years ago with this country's original revolt against tyranny. A revolution left unfulfilled for exactly 2.5 centuries as of next year, 2026. A revolution that one way or another will finally end this year, either with us all finally freed from tyranny, or it's game over.
Oh, Mr. Jarvis, just one more thing, please. I thought you had a clock to punch. I do. I'm leaving right now.
But that's just the gist of it. There's a lot more specific details, strategies, and methodologies to my pitch, but in an effort to keep this video short and sweet, I'm saving the in-depth discussion for other content. Therefore, if you like what you've seen thus far, I hope you'll check out my other work as part of this ongoing project. I'm Patrick, and...
Hail Caesar. Oh, what's this? It's a knife. Haven't you read the sign? Get him! Oh no! Ow! 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 We nearly got him! Ow! Oh, not you as well, Brutus.
What? Are you kidding?
Et tu, Brute? Am I using that right?
Oligarchy!
Et tu, Brute!